What's going on, guys? It's your boy Scrub here, back again with another video. Hope you guys are all having an absolutely incredible day. I know I am, and if you are, I would appreciate you pressing the like button. That's right, guys. Press the like button, otherwise I will sneak into your window with nothing but a bag full of sugar-free gummy bears and give them to you. And if you've ever read about sugar-free gummy bears, they act as a laxative, so you will actually shit yourself. I'm sorry, guys. I don't make the rules, I just follow them, and you do not want me to sneak into your house and feed you sugar-free gummy bears, so press the like button. As you guys can tell from the title of today's video, it's going to be a little bit more intense because the title is probably I thought he died or like I thought he was dead, something like that, alright? I haven't decided what I'm going to title it yet, but it's going to involve thinking that somebody's dead, and you're probably thinking, oh my gosh, is this an episode of Scooby-Doo? Did Ryan commit murder? Did Old Man Jenkins throw him in the well? And you'll see in due time, my friends, in due time. But yeah, without further ado, let's get into it. Bone apple teeth. So at the start of this month, I was traveling a lot. Actually, this entire month, I've been traveling a lot, okay? I've been making videos on the go, which is why sometimes my mic sounds a little bit different because I've been in and out of hotel rooms all month, just traveling, having a good time, but the grind doesn't stop, okay? I gotta keep bringing you guys that juicy content. I know most of you guys are on summer break and you need something to watch while you're sitting back relaxing at grandma's house, which is where I come in. But anyways, along with that, traveling has been quite a few flights, alright? And I actually hate flying. Like, I legitimately am terrified of being in an airplane. I feel like if humans were supposed to fly, we would have had wings, but we don't, alright? So instead, we strap ourselves into a metal death trap that's literally going to do nothing but hurtle through the air at hundreds and hundreds of miles per hour while we're just strapped in with a seatbelt next to two other strangers, one of which is a little chubby and takes up the middle armrest, which is just rude. If I'm in the middle seat, I get the armrest. Everyone knows that, Kevin. You're not being slick. You're just a douche on an airplane. Kevin, I did not like sitting next to the guy. Anyways, I've been on and off of airplanes basically all month, and one of the flights I had was to California, which is only like an hour flight for me, so I hop on expecting it to be a pretty uneventful flight. Like I said, flying to California is like an hour. I'm not expecting, you know, get extra peanuts. I'm not expecting to touch anyone's nuts, really, you know, that's just not what I'm about on an airplane. And the stewardess comes by, and she's like, oh, hello. I sat down pretty early, and we're talking, we're shooting a conversation. And then this old man walks up, and I actually really like old people. I love old people, and before anyone's like, Ryan, why do you love old people? Because old people have the ability to not care about anything. Old people don't care if they offend you. Old people don't care if you don't like them. Because they're old, they're retired, they're on the verge of death, and they live life exactly how they want without caring at all what anyone thinks. So this really old man comes and sits next to me, and the stewardess, me and him, are talking and having a conversation. He's from Orange County. He owns a bunch of car dealerships. He's talking to me about YouTube. We're talking about how like much things have changed and how businesses have changed. It was just a good conversation, the type of conversation that I really like to have. I don't know, it was just a fun, good conversation. His name was well, I'm gonna call him Thomas for the story. I don't know why I changed people's names. I've just seen every other Storytime person do it, so now I'm like, it's necessary. So whatever, I'm sitting next to Thomas. We're having a great time, a great conversation, zipping back and forth, shooting the crap, talking about girls, just things you do when you're talking to an old man on the airplane, you know? So it comes time to take off, and we take off, and Thomas and I just keep shooting the shit, having a good time, good conversations all around. He's making jokes, I'm making jokes, we're having a good time. The lady next to me actually, you know, put headphones in immediately and was just not looking at us or talking to us at all. In fact, she seemed annoyed with how much we were talking, and I mean, yeah, I'm not gonna lie, we were probably pretty annoying. But whatever, me and Thomas are having a great time talking, having a ball, just absolutely brother-ringing out. And anyways, the part of the flight comes where they come around asking for drinks, and Thomas gets a rum and coke. And you know, this man was so old, he kind of looked like Littlefoot from Land Before Time, alright? Like, he had that many wrinkles where he looked like a lizard. And I don't know, I always feel weird about really old people drinking, because I feel like it's going to be the last thing they ever do. Their liver's seen enough, alright? Like, his liver survived Vietnam. I don't know if it has the capacity to make it much further. And drinking rum in the middle of an airplane doesn't seem like the best idea. But whatever, he gets his rum and coke, I get a coke, and we're just sitting back drinking. Ooh, I didn't drink. Susan, Thomas was well over the age of 21 by like 4 times, and I'm not 21, so I've never, ever tasted alcohol in my entire life, Susan. Anyways, we were just sitting back, still talking, and a little bit goes by in silence, and I look over, and Thomas is kind of slouched over with his eyes closed, you know, like his mouth's wide open, he's breathing through his mouth, his hand is looking a little blue, and I'm freaking out because I don't know what you guys think this sounds like, but to me it sounds like I am now sitting next to a dead 84-year-old man on an airplane who I just witnessed drink his last rum and coke, which is probably his favorite drink that he drank back in Vietnam. All right, like, let's be realistic here. That's a pretty terrifying thing to be next to. So I'm looking at him and I give him a little shake and he does not wake up. He is not responsive at all. He doesn't move his head. He doesn't even breathe harder. And I'm looking, and you know the vents above you on the airplane, I can't tell if what I'm feeling, like when I put my hand kind of under his nose, is that spraying down or if it's his breath. So at this point, I'm pretty convinced that Thomas just died right next to me on the airplane, all right? And I am not ready to be in an episode of Grey's Anatomy where they're like, what happened to him? And I'm like, give him 50 cc's of heroin stat. He was in Vietnam. I don't know, okay? I'm scared. I don't want Thomas to die. Thomas seems like a pretty dope dude. We've had a great conversation. So I kind of look at the air stewardess that I was talking to earlier, like the lady who we were all talking to, and I look at her and I look at him, and I can tell that she's kind of like, oh, this is what's going on. Thomas just died. And people die on airplanes all the time. I don't know if you guys knew that. I only learned that because the stewardess told me after when we were all laughing about it. But basically, the stewardess comes over with the other stewardesses, and they're like, don't die on me. It was pretty dramatic, okay? I was not cool with it. Like, I would not have been fine with that. They ask if there's a doctor on board. A doctor comes over, feels for a pulse before anyone's like, oh, why didn't you feel for his pulse? Okay, listen. I don't know old people. I didn't want to touch a dead man's neck, all right? I don't know what's going on. So there was a doctor on board. He comes over and feels the pulse. And when he puts his hand and like kind of pushes down on Thomas's neck, he like pops up, looks around, looks at everybody, and says, and I quote, sorry, I just took really strong sleeping pills before dropping back into unconsciousness right there. And I don't know if you've ever seen someone that you thought was dead pop back into life and talk about how they're taking drugs, but it's an experience, all right? So when he like goes, I've been taking sleeping pills, I'm not gonna lie, I let out a little bit of a squeal. It might have sounded a little girly, but hey, all right. It sounded a bit like a pig, like Charlotte's Web, and I was just role-playing for when I get the new job as the actor of Charlotte's Web, obviously. So I freak out, the stewardess freak out, the doctor's like, yeah, he's just really, really, really asleep. Like almost dead asleep. And then I'm like, well, he drank rum. And the doctor's like, what? Because I don't know if you guys know this. You're not supposed to drink alcohol with medicine. It's like a big no-no. There are very few things that are a big no-no when you're on medicine, but a ginormous one is alcohol. You're not supposed to drink with it. And I guess when you drink alcohol with sleeping pills, it puts you really to sleep. Or maybe it was just a sleeping pill because Thomas was out. So whatever. Towards the end of the flight, you know, Thomas wakes up a little bit and he's kind of more with it. And I basically tell him that I thought he was dead, and he starts laughing and he's like, oh, this world hasn't had enough of me yet. And I'm like, well, dude, not to be too rude, but it's kind of not your choice. When the world decides you're done, and drinking with your sleeping pills probably is not the best idea. So whatever, the plane lands, Thomas didn't die, and our stewardess comes over and she's having a conversation with us. She's talking about how like she's had people die on planes before and how funny it is and like the look on my face. And Thomas is just giggling. He was such a happy old man. Like, he was kind of amused by the fact that he almost gave me a traumatizing experience where I was never going to be able to sit next to a person over the age of 65 on a plane again for the fear that they were going to drop dead and I was going to have to slowly pick their tongue out of their mouth with chopsticks like spaghetti at a sushi restaurant. Spaghetti at a sushi restaurant is not very good, I know from experience. But regardless, there I was, you know, sitting next to Thomas having a conversation after I thought he was dead. And I'll tell you what, it gives you a certain experience that you never expected to have. You never expect to sit next to somebody who almost dies on an airplane, but when you're an old man and you drink rum with your sleeping medicine, it doesn't matter. And I did talk to him about the sleeping medicine thing. I'm like, hey, it's probably not a good idea to drink with your sleeping pills. And he was like, meh, I've survived worse, blah, blah, blah. Starts going on about how he's in the military and how, like, nothing can kill him. You know what? And Thomas, if you're watching this, because I gave you my channel, you're not that tough, mister, all right? Like, listen, you're like old now. You're an old man, and medicine and alcohol definitely will kill you, regardless of all the things you've seen, you know? But if you're just living it up because it's going to an end anyways, hey, YOLO, man. You only live once, and you might as well have fun while you're doing it. But, yeah, he gave me his email, you know, and he's one of those old people where you give the email, and like you can tell he made it in 1984, all right? Like, it was an AOL account, and AOL hasn't been relevant since before I was born, which shows you just how old Thomas really was, you know? Like, I'm sure if I dropped a Gmail, he would have been very confused. And we've actually emailed back and forth a couple times. He's a real cool dude. We just talk about dumb stuff pretty often. I'm trying to teach him Fortnite. He's not a very quick learner, but hey, maybe if this video gets enough likes, I'll make a video playing Fortnite with Thomas. I don't know a like goal. Let's just say a lot. And then when it gets enough, I'll do it because I don't want to make any super strict promises. But on that note, guys, I think that's going to do it for the video. Hopefully you enjoyed. If you did, I would appreciate you smashing that like button harder than Thomas smashed that sleeping pill into his gullet before drinking rum. Don't get anyone pregnant, and if you do, make sure you're way younger than the age of 84, because I just feel like that's a bad look for a dad. And yeah, I hope you guys all get pregnant, except don't get pregnant. And I'll see you guys soon with another video. June's almost over. It's been an incredible month, and I want to say thank you guys all so much for the support. But I'll see you guys in July. I'm out. Peace.